Hello. Hangouts on Air is going away August 1st. For quick streaming, try youtube.com/webcam. What if I don't want to? What if I just want to keep doing Hangouts? Why? How's it going, people? My channel. Trying something a little different. I don't know. Is it weird? You're a little higher up, you're a little further away. You can see my breasts a little better. Sorry, that was too much. Let's see here if I can handle this. I don't think I can handle it. I don't have any music queued up for you to listen to as we do our usual kind of setup for things here. What's going on? Hey, look what I got while I'm waiting for this to open. Oh boy. Oh mama. That's the stuff there, right? That's what we want. We want that. I'm excited to have that second issue. I don't know if anybody else is reading it. Well, I know a couple of people are, but just flipping through it, as usual, unreal art. Looks amazing. I'm really incredibly excited for this. I don't know. My son and I haven't started reading it yet. Um, I'm thinking I might wait until the whole thing is done and just go for it all at once. Just read the whole damn thing at once. Okay, that seems to have loaded up. Let's see if I can pop out the chat. That's that one. Moving stuff around here. Let's see what I can do here. Pop out chat. Yeah, it's it's really just a ridiculously nice book. We went last night to see Spider-Man, Long Way from Home. I'm mildly concerned. Why isn't this popping out? I'm mildly concerned, very, very mildly. I love going to see the Marvel movies. We've always loved going to see the Marvel movies. They're a lot of fun. I have pretty much zero expectations, as I've spoken about before. I love seeing things on a big screen. I love seeing things blow up. I love seeing all the special effects, that sort of stuff. That said, the last few Marvel movies haven't really done much for me. Oh, I don't know. Okay, that's not working. So screw that chat. I'll look on here. The last few Marvel movies haven't really done as much for me. The final Avengers one, it was good. Um, it was good. It didn't blow me away. It was good. It wasn't bad. I didn't hate it. It was just good. I kind of want a little more than just good. The Captain Marvel movie, wasn't bad. I liked it. It was just good. Spider-Man, it wasn't bad. I liked it. It was just good. There was nothing. There was a couple of things that were pretty killer. One of the things that I saw on Twitter, and I'm sorry that I'm forgetting your Twitter handle. If you are watching, I apologize. There was a comment about there was visuals that were kind of reminiscent of some of the stuff in the Doctor Strange movie. I would agree with that, and I really dug that. Yeah, I mean, some of that CG impresses the hell out of me. Kind of when he's in Mysterio's world and stuff, there's just some nice visual elements, and it really does give you that feel from Doctor Strange. So that was very cool. There was a scene in a jet with Happy and Peter Parker that I thought was pretty great. There were some good parts to it, for sure there was. I just didn't love it. It was just good. I walked out mildly disappointed, very mildly. Um, and then when I got home, I found the announcement of all the Marvel movies till 2021, which was a bit of a surprise. I'm sure people have talked about it already. Uh, One of the things, there was there's a Vision movie. Is it Wanda and Vision? There's the Shang-Chi movie. There's a Thor movie. There's going to be a What If animated series, from what I understand. I believe it's supposed to be an animated series. Is it a Loki animated or not animated series? A Loki series? Is that what those two are supposed to be? Because I know there was some TV stuff mixed in. I didn't read too many details. The one thing that I did hear about, though, was the a little bit more info about the Doctor Strange movie, about how it's going to be maybe more of a horror movie, which is super cool. And involving the multiverse, and there'll still be some comedic elements. I guess Scarlet Witch is going to be in it, and from what I understand, Ant-Man is going to be in it. I'm not crazy about that idea. I hope that doesn't take away too much from it. I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to go down the same path repeating myself, but I did really like the first Doctor Strange movie a lot more than I thought that I would. And that visual element was a big part of it. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. That one is 2021, I think. First quarter of 2021. Was it May 2021? I don't remember. Or maybe it was March. Anyway, still a little ways to go, but that'll be very exciting. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to do with this next phase of the Marvel movies. What is this now, phase 4 or something? I'm curious what the big baddie is going to be. I'm curious where it's all going. I mean, as I said before, even though I just liked the last three, does not mean by a long shot I'm going to stop going to see them. They've got my money. You know what I mean? I'm going to go check the stuff out, because even the ones that I don't enjoy as much, there's still elements that are enjoyable. This is the first one in a while I haven't seen in 3D. But I don't think that took away too much from it. You know, that visual spectacle is definitely a thing, though, for sure. So I was going to do a little bit of a talk about this last night, but then I got into kind of putting lists together and stuff, and I ran out of time. It was just way too late. I've managed to kind of, oh boy, grab myself a stack of Eclipse titles. These suckers here. I've said it before. I will say it every single video. I will continue to say it as long as this community exists here in town. But the Winnipeg comic addicts are a hell of a good bunch of guys. And this is one individual who I know watches this channel every once in a while. I won't call out his name, but you know who you are. And he recently bought a collection, and he messaged me and said, "Hey, I know you're collecting Eclipse. There's quite a lot of Eclipse titles in these boxes." He was telling me when I also in that messages that there was a bunch of Epic Comics titles, and when I saw him in person, he was saying that there's a lot of kind of oddball stuff in there, which is exciting for me. Once he's had a bit more time to go through stuff, hopefully I can check some of it out. He was saying maybe some kitchen sink titles as well too, which is really cool. So I'm looking forward to that. It sounds like a sizable collection. So he sent me a list of the Eclipse stuff that he had, and most of what he had in those boxes I didn't have. There was a couple of things I did, but more that I didn't. So I won't go through every single one of them. I'll just kind of show you what it is. So let's see. Oh boy. There we go, I think, to there. Okay, so this stack here, this entire stack is Area 88 from the Eclipse manga. A few of the covers there. Pretty much the whole series. There's a couple of doubles in here for me, but that's quite all right. I don't mind having a couple of doubles. And one thing that I didn't know, and it popped up in another zine that I'll show you a bit later on, Rasa, if you're watching, James Hudnall doing the English adaptation. And I have a little interview with him about these adaptations. that I'll talk about in a minute here. So that stack is Area 88, a single issue of Fusion, which is the one of the other manga titles. I think there was 8 or 12 of these. I don't really remember. Pretty cool cover. The interiors are pretty neat on this one too. It has that, well, maybe it's not really manga, I guess. But there's some of the, there's a look at the interiors there. Yeah, that's not bad with the camera a bit of a distance. You get a bit of focus, seems to focus a little bit better when I do this. So there you go. Let's see, who is the artist? Is this the same artist from Dreamery? Written by Steve Galassi, Gallacci. Art by Steve Galassi and Leela Dowling. Yeah, there you go. So Leela Dowling. Letterer Mindy Eisman. Editor Letitia Glauser. And yeah, there we go. So that makes sense because later on, yes, stuff like this especially reminds me quite a bit of Dreamery with the panelless or borderless panels rather. So there you go. So that looks pretty cool. Single issue of that. This goes over there. And then what do we have here? Another one of the parody comics that they did this time, X Farce, which looks okay. It doesn't look as good as the other one that I grabbed. Wow, as I almost drop a stack, drop a deuce here. Let's do this. No, let's not. All right. I need more tables in here. There you go. There's a look at that there. The art doesn't appeal to me as much as Loco versus Pulverine, but there you have it. It's cool to have nonetheless for another dent in the old Eclipse. And then the rest of these is a series called Heavy Metal Warrior Xenon with some really badass covers. Love these covers a hell of a lot. I love the colors on them. Just show you a couple of them. There you go. So again, this is most of this run. I think there's 3 or 4 issues or something like that missing from it. I don't remember off the top of my head, but it's most of the series anyway. So that's really, really cool. And then kind of backing up to, I went and grabbed some books from Cover to Cover. And one of the things that I found at Cover to Cover, he had a stack of Amazing Heroes. And in that stack, he had this one, a 10-year Eclipse. So a focus on looking back at the first 10 years of Eclipse comics. Dean Mulvaney, Cat Ironwood. They talk about 10 years of creators' rights at Eclipse. They go through a bunch of the titles. They talk about what's going on in the future. They do some small focusing on things like Scout, a sizable article, and then a couple of full-page ads of upcoming Eclipse titles. So that's very, very cool to be able to add that to the Eclipse collection as well. A really nice find there. A couple other things just before I get to the checklist stuff. A couple of other things I managed to grab at Cover to Cover. Grabbed some more Ninja Turtles, specifically the Veach era stuff. And then some random ones. He had quite a lot from what I think this is the first volume. Am I right about that? So that was book 28. And then here's book 30. And I now have this whole series as well with the gentleman's name who I'm blanking on from Puma Blues. I'm completely drawing a blank on his name. And he also had this one, the Richard Corbin drawn issue. So I don't know, man. There's something. These turtles are doing it for me. This is the one that I had before, and then this is the final one. So nice to have that little chunk to get a bit of a taste. Put those down here. So, and then a stack of a few other things, including a couple of undergrounds, underground classics. This Freak Brothers I already have a copy of, but I can't resist getting another one. This one I don't have before. Another issue of the Complete Cheech Wizard, which means that I'm almost done. This, I think, was just a 4-issue run. Some more Renegade phony pages, another parody type of thing. Underwater from Chester Brown. I've never seen a floppy of these before, so that was a nice find. These are doubles, but the copies that I have are pretty trashed, and these were a very good price, so I grabbed both of those. Demon Dreams. There we go. There's another Eclipse. The Weasel Patrol, and Real War Stories on the Eclipse tip. And then again, this was a double. I couldn't remember. For some reason, it wasn't in my database. I thought I had it, but again, the price was too good that I couldn't resist, just in case I didn't have it. Turns out it's a double. This really caught my attention. It is called Puke and Explode, Volume 1 from 1990, it looks like. North Star Publishing. Be warned, this comic book contains sex, drugs, rock and roll, violence, and stupidity. Number 1 of 2. I love that cover. The interior art is similar, not as dense, but that similar kind of look to it. And it's not bad, but that cover really blows me away. And then finally, this one. This cover completely just blew my mind, so I could not resist. From Gateway Comics, which I believe was Vancouver. Shit, sorry about that. Vancouver. And the interiors are just as great. It's all black and white interiors, but they're just as great as the cover here. It's just, I love the colors on the front cover here. So that came home with me as well. So last night, or the other night rather, I decided it was time to redo the file cards for Eclipse. There we go. That's focusing. I figured it's time. So did a little watermark of the Eclipse symbol, and then went through. I had organized the boxes a couple of weeks ago just to make some room and to get things sorted, so that that worked for me. The inner organizing nerd in me was extremely happy for a couple of hours while I started doing that. There we go. And of course, my wife came home and made fun of me, as she should. So then last night, I put together, so I had a paper copy of an Eclipse checklist. Paulo Costa was kind enough to send me a link months ago now for another site that had an Eclipse checklist. The two checklists differed from each other in quite a few titles, actually. I was a bit surprised. Listing on one that wasn't in the other, and vice versa. And then there was actually that Xenon comic that I showed wasn't listed on either of those checklists. So I kind of spent a bit of time last night compiling both of those checklists. I haven't compared it to my collection yet, but just did a paper copy for myself, and I still have the files on the computer just to give me a sense of what I'm sitting at. And according to my numbers, I'm sitting at about 633 of the Eclipse titles. And there's probably around, I don't know, around 900, I'd say, Eclipse titles. That's including things like trade paperbacks, softcover collections, and the single issues. The IC, is it IGW? Whatever it is, they have these official checklists to such and such and such and such that are kind of a subsidiary of Eclipse. So I'm including all of those. So the next step for me will be to go through the boxes again, just to kind of have another look at what I actually have in the boxes to see if they're on this list. There was a couple of missing ones in here. For example, X-Farce, Xenon, and I can't read backwards. Strife versus Sergeant Strike. So I made notes of those there as well too to add back in. So I've added them into the file. And that sort of stuff just, you know, I'm sure that some of you can relate. I enjoy doing that kind of shit. It was a lot of fun sitting here. I was listening to Cartoonist Kayfabe. I was checking, just doing my checklist, typing them on the computer, printing stuff off, making myself this little book. Nice to have a bit of a hardcover book that eventually can go down inside of one of the short boxes. Yeah, what can I tell you? I'm a total nerd. It's amazing. Sorry, I'm not checking the chat here, see if there's anybody around. Yeah, that's it. Sounds like people are home. So that's a short one, and we'll talk to you.